join me for this video about a Roberts radio. Don't forget to like this video, as it tells me that you'd like to see more videos like this. It came out at the tail end of the 1980s, and I believe the model ran for a few years until 1993 or so. So this is a Roberts RP26-B. Now, I have Googled to see if there was a variation of this, and there doesn't seem to be. So this is a modern Roberts radio in the scheme of things, but in an old kind of cabinet. So this would have come out just before the revival model was revived for the 1990s, and it was very popular actually. You might be more aware of that model, the classic sort of, was it 1950s or 1960s look. So this is definitely a kind of a newer sort of take, but still in quite a retro looking body. I've owned this radio for a number of years, and I'm a little bit disturbed by the fact that it's started to show some discolouring here. So this was originally white plastic, as you can see, and it's not seen too much of the sun, but obviously seen enough for it to yellow. So that's something maybe to be aware of. Now, this is a preset base radio, so essentially you have 4 FM channels that are your favourites, and then 1 medium wave and 1 long wave channel. And basically you've got the presets in here, so I'll just show you. These are very kind of sensitive to the tuning, so you don't have to turn these very much, but what you do is you just tune each one into the radio station that you want to stick to for that particular button, and the buttons are kind of aligned with these tuners. So it is purely an analog based preset, which is quite nice. Now, it does run on batteries as well as mains, which is fortunate, and there is the option, if you've got this by the side of your bed, to plug in some earphones to listen to late night broadcasts. Now, Roberts did have this appointment from the Queen. They carried this on all their products. You can see it there, by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen. And then a telescopic aerial, which is in pretty good condition actually. And there's tone control and volume here. This isn't actually a bad condition model apart from the discolouring. So the wood is still reusable on the side. Let's have a look on the back. You've got the mains, classic sort of figure of 8 mains there, and there's like a vent because you've obviously got the circuit board behind the speaker by the looks of things. And there's a screw here, so I'd imagine just unscrewing this will open up the back. So I might give that a little go in a minute just to show you the insides. Now, what I will try to do is turn this on. I'll plug it into the mains for that, and we'll see if we can pick up any stations. Now, just one little warning is I am kind of sat down, not quite in a basement, but I am a little bit on one side underground, so I don't know what the reception will be like. And there is also a solar inverter in the garage, so potentially that might cause quite a bit of interference to the tuning part. So the first thing I've noticed is I've got a figure of 8 here, but it's not allowing me to plug it all the way in, and that's because it's recessed. Maybe this is a little bit too big for it. I'm going to have to find a different figure of 8 cable. I've picked up a lead from the garage and just realised it's missing the cover there, which is really important actually. But I will be very careful to just plug it in. So that's a better lead. So all the tuning is done inside. So I really don't expect to pick up very much on this. A bit crackly. What a racket. Try medium wave. But you get the idea. You would tune it in if you could get a channel. Obviously not much is broadcast on any of those channels anymore, particularly medium wave. This is going to be more successful. So let's start, see if we can get, is it radio 2 first?
I'm strong enough. I've been training for this, so and hopefully, I'll push on.
Not sure about that. I think radio 3 is on here, isn't it?
Or a staccato by Deniku and
Just listening to them.
Amelia Kopachinskaya wants the video.
Actually quite like that one. Let's go back to that. So not much is happening with the tone. So this was set. This is minimum, okay? So it does seem that it needs a bit of a clean up around these points here, these variable resistors, and it's a bit crackly on the volume, isn't it?
Ah, the wisdom of the older generation.
That's radio 2, isn't it?
Honestly, I believe it is anyway. Sean, this is in Buxton, says one of my old...
Okay. Let's have a look inside. Maybe there's better access in here for giving these a bit of a clean. And before we start, it's probably a good idea just to have a look underneath and have a look at the battery compartment. So this is the giveaway to it being a modern retro version, in that it has got a plastic bottom to it. So these C-type batteries, and quite a few of those. So we're looking at 9 volts and 6 of those. Now, there's an adjustment there, maybe to take it out. Let's see what just undoing that screw does, if anything. So the screw is like a wood screw, yeah. I'd expect that anyway. I think I will take that bottom one off. Okay, that's out. I did think it might be that they've got screws underneath the kind of stickers here. Take one off. It's not. Okay. I've decided to try heating this up because it looks like there's adhesive that's basically stopping me taking this apart. Let's see. Quite sticky along that edge there. not going to take this apart any further, but I think this will be useful just to show anyone who's got one. So the screw in here is just to hold the transformer to kind of stabilise it, keep it in place. The rest of it, the chassis is glued, so this does seem to just be glued into place. You don't really want to go disturbing it, so I'm not going to get any better access. I'm just going to have a go at cleaning the volume and tone from the actual top. I don't think I'll bother with the actual tuner, but you can kind of see inside how everything's located. So those are electronics in there. They do look like typical kind of 1980s. So this was a 1989 model, went on to 1993, I believe. It does look like the actual components in here, the way it's been designed, is possibly even earlier than the period, you know, the 1989. So that's quite interesting just to see everything involved on that board there. Now I have taken apart some retro stereo cassette boomboxes from the early 1980s, and they're quite similar in their components and the way that things look to be configured. So why change something that was working for them at the time, I guess. It's looking nice and clean in there though. So yeah, no point going any further, but at least you can kind of see. And I'm just going to pop that screw back in, because I think that's obviously quite important, isn't it? There you go, that's much better. What's interesting actually is they've got some insulation tape there on that sort of heat shield, I guess, from the transformer, and it does seem quite snug. So where the battery wires are soldered, the positive is kind of keyed up almost along there on purpose. So you'd have to be a bit careful, make sure that you didn't scratch any of that away. That's there for a reason. It does kind of give it a bit of stability. Right, I'll pop this back together. It does have to be keyed in on this side. Like so, and then push down. I wonder if these pop off. Oh yeah. They are stuck down actually. There's a little bit of stickiness on the top there to hold them in place. We need a little brush in there really. Let's use a air duster. I'm going to use a little bit of mineral oil, very, very slight amount. Give this a bit of a clean. Whether or not that oil can actually reach anything is anyone's guess. As you can see, the way it's been assembled, it's not worth breaking it up. Trying to take it apart just because it'll probably make a right mess.
Breakfast, and we're going to chuck in ice skating as well. I mean, more than ice. This is all thanks to skate lessons. You can experience the ultimate Christmas market full of bars, food, ice skate. West End. So to make sure you're listening to Mark Wright tomorrow morning from...
Well, that seems to have done something. I'm not sure if it's just me just twiddling that around has helped, but as you can tell, a very useful radio. Still useful as long as the FM transmitters are transmitting. I guess if that does change any time, then you can just use a little transmitter of your own to maybe transmit from another device in your home. So certainly something that is usable, and it's pretty smart actually. I quite like this see-through window, the fact that once it's been set up, if you're happy, then you just leave it alone. You just select your channels on here. It is definitely a retro way of doing things for sure. I will remember to put a link into the video of a very interesting book all about Roberts radio, and would make quite a decent read actually. Well, please can you like this video and subscribe, and I will make more videos like this in the future. Bye for now.